You think you're tired because you work too hard. You think this heaviness in your chest is just burnout. It's not. You are living inside a slow psychological collapse. And the scariest part is, you've learned to call it normal. Most people around you are already deep in it. They scroll their phones late into the night, staring at glowing screens, pretending they're winding down. They wake up feeling like their life has already been decided for them. They convince themselves that coffee will fix it, that a day off will fix it, that maybe a week away will fix it. But here's the truth. Rest doesn't save you when the thing draining you isn't fatigue, it's your very sense of self leaking away. Carl Jung would have called this a crisis of the soul, not just mental exhaustion, not just stress, but a deep, creeping disconnection from who you are. And it doesn't arrive like a car crash. It creeps in silently. At first, it's just small things. You stop feeling excited about what used to matter. You let your goals drift because they feel heavier than they should. You tell yourself you'll start again on Monday. Then one day, you look in the mirror and realize you don't even recognize the person looking back. You've been running on autopilot so long that you've mistaken survival for living. You've mistaken numbness for stability. You've mistaken quiet despair for peace. And the worst part? The people around you will tell you this is fine. They'll tell you, we all feel this way sometimes. They'll normalize the very process that's breaking you. But you can feel it, can't you? That something isn't just off, it's wrong. Like a leak in the foundation you can't quite see but know is there. You can keep telling yourself you just need to slow down. But deep down, you know it isn't working. Every break you take feels shorter. Every attempt to recover leaves you just as empty. What if that's the point? What if the comfort you're chasing isn't helping you heal at all, but quietly teaching you to stay exactly where you are? They told you to rest, take a break, slow down, recharge. But here's the truth. The rest you've been sold is a trap. It's not real recovery. It's sedation. Think about it. You come home drained, collapse on the couch, and start scrolling. Or you binge a show. Or you sleep half the day away on the weekend. And for a moment, yes, you feel lighter. But do you wake up burning with clarity? Do you return to yourself? No. You return to numbness. Carl Jung warned about this a century ago, that we don't just run from fatigue. We run from the inner questions fatigue exposes. Because when you stop moving, when the noise finally quiets, you might hear something dangerous. The voice of your real self. And that voice might tell you the truth you've been avoiding, that the job, the goals, the life you're resting to get back to are the very things killing you. This is why rest feels good for a moment, but never changes you. You're not refilling your energy. You're pressing mute on your own awakening. You're staying just comfortable enough not to revolt. Jung would call this a psychic anesthetic, a way of avoiding the inner confrontation that could rip your life open and rebuild it. True rest is an escape. True rest is preparation for truth. And the truth is, you don't need another nap. You need to wake up. Instead of snapping back into your routine, imagine looking at your life with every layer of comfort stripped away. No job title, no daily habits, no one else's expectations to hide behind. Just you. How much of what's left is truly yours? This is where Jung's warning begins, the part no one wants to face. Because the real exhaustion isn't from the hours you work. It's from carrying a life that doesn't belong to you. Strip away the titles, the routines, the roles you've been taught to play. What's left? For most people, it's a stranger. Carl Jung saw this long before the age of smartphones and endless notifications. He warned that modern life doesn't just drain your energy, it hollows out your identity. You can work yourself to the bone and still feel empty because you're pouring every drop of effort into living someone else's story. And here's the quiet danger. When you live a life that isn't yours, exhaustion doesn't feel like resistance. It feels like reality. You stop questioning it. You call it being an adult. You normalize the weight on your chest until you can't even imagine life without it. Jung believed that most people aren't tired from doing too much. They're tired from doing the wrong thing for too long. Day after day, they trade their own needs for expectations. They sacrifice their inner compass for the map handed to them by parents, bosses, algorithms, culture. At first, the cost seems small. You ignore a dream here, a value there. You stay quiet when you want to speak. You say yes when every part of you wants to say no. But every compromise cuts a thread between you and your real self. And when enough of those threads are gone, you're left untethered, drifting through a life you didn't choose, too tired to fight for one you would. This is the exhausted self Jung warned about. A person who is so thoroughly adapted to what the world wants from them that they've forgotten how to want anything for themselves. And here's the trap. The more exhausted you become, the harder it is to imagine that anything could be different. The more foreign your own desires feel, the more you cling to the mask that's killing you. But the mask won't hold forever. At some point, the cracks start to show. The smile feels heavier. The silence becomes unbearable. And when it does, you face a choice. Keep pretending, or finally see the truth of what you've become. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when the real terror and the real awakening begins. You wake up every morning and put it on. Not the shirt, not the watch, the mask. It's invisible, weightless, perfectly molded to your face, so perfect, you've forgotten it's even there. It smiles for you when you're breaking inside. It nods politely when every nerve in your body is screaming no. It laughs on cue, says the right words, plays the right part. You've worn it for so long that even you believe it's your real face. But it isn't. Carl Jung called this the persona, the social mask we build to survive in a world that doesn't want our raw, unfiltered selves. At first, it's just a thin layer. You adjust your tone in meetings. You hide a piece of yourself on a first date. You tuck away the opinions that might make someone uncomfortable. But over time, the mask grows thicker. It stops being something you wear. It becomes something you are. And when that happens, the real you, the soft, unedited, inconvenient, you gets pushed deeper and deeper into the dark. Here's the part no one tells you. The mask doesn't just hide you from others. It hides you from yourself. That's why you can't feel joy the way you used to. That's why even the things you should want feel hollow. That's why rest never works, because the mask never sleeps. And here's the horror. The longer you wear it, the harder it is to take off. Not because it's glued to your skin, but because you don't remember what's underneath. You've been looking out at the world through the same frozen smile for so long, you've forgotten what your own face feels like. And the mask isn't passive. It's alive in its own way, protecting itself, defending its existence. Every time you think about changing, it whispers in your ear, "Don't. You need me. Without me, you'll have nothing." But the truth is the opposite. Without it, you might finally have everything. The question is, will you dare to take it off? Because once you do, the shadow will be waiting. You've felt it before. That shiver when you're alone in your apartment and swear you saw movement in the corner of your eye. That heaviness when you're sitting in silence and it feels like something is watching you. It's not paranoia. It's your shadow. Carl Jung said the shadow is the part of you you've buried so deep it lives like a separate presence, a stranger in your own mind. It holds everything you've rejected. Your rage, your grief, your jealousy, your fear, your hunger, your shame, everything the mask won't allow. At first, the shadow waits quietly. It lets you play your role. It lets you believe you're in control. But every time you silence yourself, every time you betray yourself to keep the mask on, the shadow grows heavier. It presses closer. And when it grows too big for the dark, it starts to leak. In the way you snap at someone you love over nothing, in the way you binge on food, on screens, on anything that will keep it quiet, in the way you wake up already tired because you've been wrestling it all night in your dreams. You think your exhaustion is from work, from stress, from life. But the truth is, you are carrying a war inside you every waking moment. The mask pushing everything down, the shadow pushing everything up. And here's the worst part. The shadow doesn't want to destroy you. It wants to be seen. But if you keep ignoring it, it will find another way to get your attention. It will sabotage your work. It will ruin your relationships. It will make your body ache, your mind fog, your days collapse into a haze of distraction. Because if you won't face it willingly, it will force you to. You can feel it now, can't you? That pressure in your chest, that lump in your throat, that faint sense that you're not alone in your own head. The overload isn't random. It's a signal. The shadow is at the door pounding harder every day. And if you don't open it, one day it will stop knocking and start coming in. So the question becomes, do you dare face it now while you still have the choice? Because in the next breath, we have to talk about something far more terrifying, that this shadow isn't just personal. It's part of a machine. You think your exhaustion is personal, that it's just you, your job, your habits, your mistakes. It's not. It's engineered. The world you live in isn't neutral. It's a machine. And every hour of your day, it's working to keep you overloaded, not enough to collapse completely, but just enough to keep you too tired to rebel. It starts with your attention. Every notification, every flashing ad, every breaking headline, a tiny hook in your brain, pulling you back into the current. You think you're choosing what to watch, what to read, what to click. You're not. You're being fed a drip feed of stimulation designed to keep you reactive, distracted, and slightly anxious. Because an anxious mind is a predictable mind, and a predictable mind is easy to control. The workplace plays its part. Endless emails, impossible deadlines, performance reviews that turn your value into a number on a spreadsheet. They tell you to push through, to do more with less, to prove yourself. And you do, because the alternative is being left behind. But here's the truth no one tells you. The machine doesn't care about your well-being. It cares about your output. And once you can't produce anymore, it will replace you without a second thought. Even your leisure is part of the trap. The shows you binge, the endless scroll, the fake self-care products, every escape you're offered is designed to feed you back into the same cycle tomorrow. And so the shadow inside you isn't just yours, it's being fed by algorithms, by corporations, by a system that thrives on keeping you just conscious enough to keep working, but never awake enough to walk away. You're not just tired because life is hard. You're tired because the machine is running exactly as intended. The question is, once you see the machine, can you ever unsee it? And if you can't, what will you do to escape before it grinds you down completely? The machine wants you tired. The shadow wants you blind. The mask wants you silent. But here's the part they don't expect. You can turn them against each other. The first step is not to fight harder. It's to step sideways, to stop playing the game exactly as it's been handed to you. Most people try to escape by running faster new job, new routine, new productivity system. But that's still the machine's rhythm. You can't outsprint something designed to run forever. So you slow down, deliberately. You break the momentum on purpose. That moment when your phone vibrates and you don't touch it. When an email lands in your inbox and you let it sit. When you feel the reflex to explain yourself and you don't. Every time you interrupt the pattern, the shadow stirs. It doesn't like the stillness. It will whisper that you're falling behind, that you'll be forgotten, that you're ruining everything. But this is the signal. You're doing it right. Because the only way out is to face the discomfort the machine taught you to avoid. And the more you face it, the more you remember what you were hiding from in the first place. Then, you choose one action the machine can't use against you. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be yours. A small truth spoken out loud. An hour spent on something with no monetary value. A refusal to rush when rushing is expected. These moments are seeds. They grow slowly, quietly, beneath the noise. And one day, they break the surface. And so do you. You won't destroy the machine in a day, but you can stop being its perfect gear. And the moment you do, you start becoming something it can't control. The question is, will you keep walking toward that light or turn back to the dark because it feels safer? You've been told you're lazy. You've been told you lack discipline. You've been told you just need to try harder. They were wrong. You were never weak. You were overloaded. And overload is not proof of failure. It's proof of how much you've already carried. Think about it. Every single day, you've been holding up a life the machine built for you. You've worn the mask until your skin forgot the difference. You've wrestled the shadow alone in the dark. You've kept moving when your soul was screaming to stop. Weakness doesn't survive that. Only strength does. The truth is, the world was never going to hand you permission to change. It was never going to say, rest now, heal now, become yourself now. You have to take it. And you don't take it with some perfect, flawless transformation. You take it in one small, defiant act at a time. One truth you stop hiding. One no you finally say. One moment you choose presence over performance. That's how the overload ends. Not all at once, but in every moment you decide the weight is no longer yours to carry. So no, you're not broken. You're ready. And now I want to hear from you. What's the one weight you've decided to put down, starting today? What's the one thing you will no longer carry for the machine? Write it in the comments and make it real. Read what others have written. Support someone else's choice, because we were never weak. We were always stronger than they wanted us to know. That person is already inside you, waiting. The only question is, when will you let them out?